Hello, this is The Way of Fairness. My name is Stephen Childs. Somebody compared my work with Karl Marx Revolution, Marxism, and it's about the distribution of wealth. So we have that in common. The Way of Fairness would be about a fair way to think of the distribution of wealth. Fairness economics is what we would call it. And Karl Marx prescribed violent revolution based on the division of the elite bourgeoisie and the working class proletariat. So the proletariat was going to take over, and did, and form the communist governments. But they got the power, and they did not distribute the power to all the people. They kept the power from their violent revolution, and they already had a basis of violent takeover, which was converted to violent control of its own people. So Joseph Stalin killed 10 million of his own people to continue to control, so that they could protect themselves from the rest of the world and compete with the rest of the world with their form of Marxism that became communism. The Way of Fairness is not violent, and we're not taking over anyone. It's an invitation. It's an invitation to join the Way of Fairness. So you just simply agree to not do others wrong and join with us. We have Team Fairness in the works, a secular alliance that's purpose is to implement the World Fairness Agreement. And that's the agreement that brings about the fairness economics and the fair distribution of wealth worldwide. And it's described in The Way of Fairness on the website, thewayoffairness.com. So you can join us in Team Fairness. We'll make chapters all over secular. Skeptics invited to join to make a better future for them and their children. It'll end the tribal warfare and the economic warfare and the religious warfare and so forth. So then we also have the Church of Fairness in the works, that we will have the benefits of being a religion. And there are benefits, and our purpose is the same as Team Fairness. It's identical. Some people in the Church of Fairness will have a concept of a supreme being that created. Others, like myself, I'm a faith-based atheist, and I have faith there's no such a thing. And because we've agreed to be fair, there's not a problem. We can use the 1 minute method of argument if there's an emotional argument, so that we don't have unfairness rule the day and the night on the argument. So the Church of Fairness, the only difference would be what I call the 0 point energy, where everything comes from. How do you say that? Ex nihilo or something? Creation from nothing. That's a concept in Judaism. God created from nothing. So what is the God? Is it a supreme being, or is it the 0 point? And atheists think it is the 0 point. And it's interesting that Shiva is described as nothing. So Shiva is the 0 point, and it's mythologized as a human being, but it's not a human being, it's God. The human form of it is called Shankara. So they've already dealt with that concept, that there's a difference from the human myth of or representation of Shiva, nothing manifesting as a human being. So they believe that the All-Powerful can manifest as a human, or as a squirrel, or as a Hanuman is half monkey, half human. His father was the wind. It's a virgin birth. And They allow Christians to flourish in India just like all the other religions. Recently there's been some nationalistic Hindu people that are being difficult with the atheists. Traditionally they're fair to the atheists. If an atheist is a fair person, then they're honored as being a good person. So that's a little bit on the religious aspect of it. I was thinking about the body of Christ concept where it's non-dual. So there's one body of Christ that is us. And so I can use my sword I got from the cloud from my connection to extraterrestrials. And if you'd like, you could say I connected to angels. I don't care how you define it. The fact is I got a cloud from a sword from a cloud, and I'm in communication with these beings that know the future, and they told me they're extraterrestrials and they're atheists. That's what they are too. So I think the further a species develops into higher degrees of knowledge and technology, the more atheists they are, because there's no evidence of the Supreme Being. And we thoroughly understand how evolution can happen from randomness, and how the creation itself is just a fluctuation in the one wave of reality, the mono wave you could call it, or the frequency, the fundamental frequency, and at 0 point it's zero. There's no mind, there's no consciousness. Turn it up and then the sine wave appears. It's the unstruck chord that the Sikh religions talk about. Odd Gure Name. It's from nothing. Gure is the guru, Name is the sacred name. From nothing, the guru and the sacred name appear. The unstruck chord. There's no unstruck in it. No one's playing the song. That's the dance of Shiva, Nataraj Tandava. It's the 0 point energy as a ring of fire. And I think it's probably what Johnny Cash wrote his song about. He probably had a dream, I'm speculating, about falling into a ring of fire, and he had to surrender. And he didn't even know it was about Lord Shiva. How do they say it? Shiva. They don't say it Shiva. It's Shiva. Lord Shiva. Yeah, that's closer. So sorry about the mispronunciation. I've not been known to mispronounce J by saying it's Jai means victory. And they say J, like for example, J Maha Shiva. I'm just making it up. That's victory, highest power, Maha, Lord Shiva. 0 that becomes the most powerful and is capable of cutting the head off of the Creator. So he's more powerful than the Creator, so they don't believe in a Supreme Being either. See what I'm saying? If you incorporate Shiva into the Godhead, they have Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and that's the Godhead, and everything's an expansion of that. Sounds more like science, a process of creation, destruction, and incorporating how, as humans, we must defeat evil to have a good life. She was the destroyer of evil. So I was talking about the similarities with Marxism and how the way of fairness will present for the planet fairness economics, and it doesn't matter if your concept of the divine mind is Supreme Being or just simply the divine mind that evolved from no mind, and that's like Shiva from no mind, so there's similarities. So there's ways to unite us all with fairness. I'm not the boss of fairness. Fairness is the boss of me. Have a great day.